You can get 10 for $4 a piece. For $39.95, you can get 10 of the Obama deception. Part 2 of it, that basically covers the most up-to-date info, is Follow the Republic. This is part 2 to the Obama deception. They're all available at Infowars.com on the online shopping cart. And this is complex stuff. This is a long-term strategic takeover. It took me deep research to figure out that Google wasn't just with the government. It is the government, but a corporate government taking over. Now it's mainstream news in the Washington Post because they're just throwing it in your face. And we need to warn police and military now, because I can't tell you how many phone calls, how many emails, how many people in uniform, police officers, TSA workers, off-duty, city employees all over the country have said, I didn't understand what was going on at work until I saw your film, and everything in there I'd already seen, but pieces of it. How do you know all this? Well, I did the research. The globalists have got millions of people working for them, so they've got to write up what they're doing. They always put it in a palatable way. They always spin it like it's good. But when you know history, and then you get the deeper congressional hearings on Rex 84 from the 80s, that's when we found out the plan. Total martial law, millions of people to be arrested. But first they've got to drill everybody. So they'll say, martial law's coming for the flu. Then it doesn't happen, but you've been drilled to accept it. The public's been drilled. It's the same thing over and over again. It's a slow incremental takeover towards the financial collapse. So now we're coming to the wall here. We're coming to the cliff. We're coming to the end of the road, and that's why it's getting so crystal clear. Austin, and any other info?
Yeah, just a couple of quick things, Alex. I just appreciate you letting me come back on. One of the things I taught at the Correction Academy in Albany, New York for years was the code and canon of ethics in law enforcement. And I noticed that there was this really weird disconnect, that a lot of the people in my training sessions considered ethics not to be an individual thing, that it was a department that was responsible for the ethical operation, and that the officers as individuals were just supposed to, I called it the Eichmann defense. I was just following orders, and as long as they were following orders, then they were doing the right thing. And I would just reach out and speak to my law enforcement brothers that ethics is individual. It is not corporate. And the only way that the monster New World Order can win is if everybody steps in line with them.
That's right. Peace officers were always trained to act individually, to follow the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, to have that code, and to operate with autonomy. But now it's corporatized with a structure where you do what you're told.
And the New World Order and the big takeover cannot be successful without the guys where the tire meets the road. And if you will not follow unlawful orders, if you realize that ethics is individual and just don't do it, they can't win.
God bless you, Austin. Call back again. I'm glad you got through. So many great peace officers and guardians of the Republic out there. And that's why individuals as citizens have to speak up and say when things are wrong, so that police and military and government recognize what they're doing.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Be sure to visit GCNlive.com today.
Let me tell you a little bit about one of our great sponsors, HomeGain.com. This is the place to get you started buying or selling a home, finding a realtor, and getting any real estate questions answered. Go to HomeGain.com and see what I'm talking about. All you need to do is type in your home address, and you will get an instant free estimate of your home's value online. This is a great way to be able to monitor the value of your home. And again, it's absolutely free. There are tons of tools to help you. For instance, if you want to remodel your home, go to HomeGain.com. Use their Home Sale Maximizer to help you determine which home improvements can most increase your home's value before you put it on the market. For 10 years, these folks have been helping home sellers and buyers. Visit their link at Infowars.com. Look for Max, the orange Home Gain Gorilla, to help you with any real estate needs you might have. You'll love this site. It's HomeGain.com. HomeGain.com. Check them out today.
Waging war on corruption Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
We got a bunch of news coming up in about 35 minutes, and I'll continue with your calls. Len Spencer from the front lines of the border collapsing in Arizona, one of the leading experts out there, will be joining us. Extremely informative intel coming up. We're continuing with your phone calls right now. Steve Watson comes up for 2 segments here in just a moment. Let's talk to Ariel in New York. Ariel, you're on the air.
Yes, hello, Alex Jones. My friends call me AR, and my friend Will, he's the one that always told me about this, your show, and told me how to call in. And he's always telling me and all my friends about high fructose corn syrup. I just wanted you to just tell me really quickly, what's so wrong with the high fructose corn syrup? Because it's in everything. It's in ketchup. You know, it's in everything. So, all
right, well, let's cover what we know. 80+% of the corn in this country for the last decade has been GMO. There's different varieties of it, but mainly it's to be pesticide resistant, so it doesn't die when it gets sprayed with pesticides. It then absorbs the pesticides and concentrates in it, and in all the studies of these GMO corns with rats, it kills them. It causes organ failure. So you've got that poison in the corn syrup, and government has reported itself that upwards of half to a third, depending on which batch they test, of all major corn syrup containing products has high levels of mercury, very high levels, because they also spray toxic waste, the leftovers from oil production, oil refining, whatever's left over, they call it fertilizer and spray the toxic waste on crops. And so then plants are very good at absorbing and drawing those heavy metals up out of the soil. So there's also the scientists reported the way corn syrup is metabolically absorbed, burns out the pancreas, but that's the least of your problems. Corn syrup is so devastating because it's filled with mercury, and it's also filled with the toxins from the GMO, and this is just hidden in plain view.
Wow, that's just unfortunate. And I just have one final question, you know, because I know health is one half of the battle, and that's why it's good. I'm glad.
And notice how when we say no to aspartame, people stop drinking diet drinks. Suddenly they put it in tens of thousands of products and all the major sugar gums. And you say no to GMO, they put it in the corn, so it's in the filler products and all the foods. And it's almost impossible to buy food at the grocery store that isn't deadly. But it's done by design. Go ahead.
Yes, thanks for telling me about the aspartame, too, you know. He never mentioned that to me. He always mentioned the fluoride and high fructose. But my final question is, you know, there's so many people who just don't care about what's happening, maybe until it happens. When do you think it will be the time, the exact moment, for the people who really don't care about it? Because, you know, there's people that do care like you, and they're taking action now, and it is the time to take action. But for the people who are not just there enough, when do you think the time will come for the next wave of people to stand up?
I mean, it's all incremental. It's all part of a process. And the Bible talks about people being spiritually blind and not being spiritually enlightened. And so what happens is they are deceived, and they're given a great delusion. And so it doesn't matter if half the kids on their block got cancer. You know, they just think that's normal. And they want to care about sitcoms and the New York Yankees and acting cool with their buddies at the bar. It's too heavy for them to believe the government's poisoning them and that there's a soft kill operation to sterilize us. And so they're just already immersed in death to the point of they've just given up. We don't need the majority. We need a active, aggressive, tireless, focused minority of truth lovers and freedom lovers and life lovers who are willing to tell the truth and stand up and speak out. So, I mean, that's the bottom line. I appreciate your call, Ariel. Good to hear from you. We'll get to Alex, Matt, Rosa, Maria, Todd, and others coming up after Steve Watson is with us on several key issues straight ahead. This is the one, the only GCN Radio Network. I'm Alex Jones. GCNlive.com is, of course, the website. We'll be right back after this quick break. GCNlive.com is the network site. My websites are prisonplanet.com, Infowars.com. Hello, friends. This is Alex Jones. You've heard me talk about Cal-Ben 5-star soaps for years. This is an American-made product of the highest quality and compares to nothing you will find in stores. You can buy factory direct, shipped via UPS right to your door. Check them out on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091. Take my word for it. Once you've used Pure Soap, you won't buy anything else. Since 1947, Cal-Ben Soap Company has been showing consumers that soap can be tough on dirt and gentle on the environment. Buy American and stay clean, as well as support InfoWars. Visit 5starsoap.com today or call 1-800-340-7091. Well, Marty, what do you have to say?
As founder and owner for over 63 years, satisfaction is guaranteed or double your dirt back. Call us at 1-800-340-7091 for a free catalog.